All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Carter, how we doing, man?
Doing great, man. Doing great. It's a nice little Monday, kick off the week. Got my kids here tonight, so I had to push it back a little bit. I apologize to anybody that was in earlier. I was hoping to be able to go live at 7:30, but my son is at a weird age where like he can't be quiet, and so I couldn't go. But I can put him down to bed at like 8 o'clock and go a little bit after. So I had to push back a little bit. But we're doing good, man. I mean, live show this last weekend was fucking awesome, dude. That was a blast. Had a great time. If you haven't watched it, go out and watch it. We put a clip of it out for a shorter clip as well. But it was a good time, man, and had some great football to watch afterwards. Went into Akron, met up with the infamous Christopher Drew, and had a great weekend, man. And Sunday, watched football all day. Like literally, you can't complain about a thing. How about you? How was your weekend? How did your weekend finish out? I know you had to get back to Fort Wayne there Saturday night and then and whatnot. But how's your Monday been? How's everything going?
Monday's been good. Can't really complain at all. It was, just out and about doing everything. Got everything situated on Sunday and just was a really relaxing weekend. But outside of that, it is Monday. The show must go on.
Yeah, we're here. And we finally have the answers to the key to the test, right? We had the Sunday selection show on Sunday where they told us who was going to be in, who was going to be out in the playoffs. We'll obviously dive into that a little bit. I think everybody obviously at this point knows who's in, who's out, everything like that. I think pretty much we were pretty spot on in what we were saying. I know you were a little wrong about something, and I'm going to call you out on it.
Well, at first, at first glance, I am on the group of five thing. I think it's dumb. There's no way you can sit there and tell me that Alabama is not better than Boise State, South Carolina. The format is dumb. They don't have the best 12 teams in, and that's
fine.
And it is what it is. SMU doesn't. I mean, I was banging the table for them, but don't leave Alabama.
No, you weren't. You were saying Alabama should be in over SMU.
They should.
You were banging any tables for SMU
earlier
in the season. Yeah,
earlier in the season. But now that I see that, I mean, it's a joke.
Okay.
It's a total joke.
In the NFL, do the best teams get in?
Typically, yes.
No,
into the playoffs, yeah, they do.
AFC North last year. AFC North had four of the best teams in football. Not all four got in.
Yeah, because they didn't win enough games. But they didn't.
Hey, you're Alabama now. You didn't win enough games. Sorry.
I don't care. SMU ain't played a soul, and we're not going to pick up the Indiana is all of a sudden a top 5 team now. We're not. I'm not going for that today. There's no way. I heard a lot of people talk about, well, Indiana's a top 5 team. No, not after Ohio State beat them. There's no way. There's no way. We're not doing this. And then the second best team allegedly in the Big Ten gets thumped on the head by a 6-6 Michigan team. The same thing that happened to Alabama the week prior.
Twice. It happened to Alabama twice, though.
But you got to remember, Vandy only lost to Texas by a field goal. So they almost beat Texas, too.
Fuck, Michigan beat USC, Michigan, I mean, whatever. We can do this shit all day. Michigan almost beat Oregon. Fuck it.
Not even close.
I don't care what you say. You can't give me any argument that tells me Alabama should be in. Don't fucking lose to Oklahoma and Vandy. That's all. That's it. And here's the dumbest thing. I will say the dumbest thing I've heard all fucking day is the goddamn SEC homers talking about, well, what's the purpose of playing a hard out-of-conference schedule?
There isn't
Hey, dumbass.
There isn't
dumbass. Hey, dumbass. The out-of-conference schedule isn't the reason you're not in. Hell, Alabama played one of the weakest out-of-conference schedules in all of college football. Out-of-conference has nothing to do with it. The teams that actually played out-of-conference tough games got in. Georgia, they played Clemson, beat them. LSU played USC, didn't have a shot. What, Alabama played fucking 6-6 Wisconsin? Get out of here.
But Alabama has a win over Georgia, and Texas lost to them twice, and they're in. So
it's our only 2 losses. Don't lose 3 games. There you go. Problem solved.
I just SMU didn't play anybody, and then you can't pick up the Indiana thing when you want to. Ohio State lost. They lost 2 games, and they really didn't even get penalized. Penn State played Oregon, and if Oregon doesn't play with their food, that game is a blowout. I just don't know why we got to have this Big Ten thing mixed with the Group of 5 thing. I want to see the best 12 teams. I'm sorry,
you got them.
No way. There's no way. And then Clemson backs in over SMU as well, which I don't think Clemson's one of the top 12 teams, but I'm not shocked they're in because the only thing they had to do was beat SMU.
The bias is so strong with this one, folks. It is so strong. Like, literally, you are Kylo Ren. Like, the dark side is so strong with you.
No,
bro,
I'm just
miss me with this SEC bullshit.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I'm sorry. Don't lose 3 games to trash teams.
So you're saying Georgia's trash? All year everybody said Georgia's no good. Well, they
didn't
Texas.
Lose to Georgia. They didn't lose to Georgia.
Yeah, they beat Georgia, the SEC champ. That doesn't count for anything.
It does, but not when you lose to fucking 6-6 Oklahoma by 3 scores and can't even put a touchdown. Like, score a fucking touchdown, you bums. Like, get out of here.
Oklahoma wins 8 games in the Big Ten. Easy.
I don't give a fuck.
It's not even close. And then we'll do this. We'll entertain this, and then the SEC bounces everybody. And then
you better hope so, because I will not let you live it down. Wait until the Final Four is Oregon or Ohio State, Penn State or Notre Dame, and it'll be Penn State versus Notre Dame, Ohio State versus Arizona State. Wait till that happens, and there's not a fucking SEC school to even sniff it.
I just think it's a joke. You put
hey, SEC better back it up. They got their team in. What do they got? They got Georgia and Texas in, right? One of them better win the whole goddamn thing.
I don't think Texas can. I think Georgia can, maybe with a backup quarterback, and then
they gotta face that Irish, baby.
And then what happens? You can't beat Georgia with a backup quarterback?
Okay, Alabama couldn't beat Ohio State with a 3rd string quarterback. I don't want to hear it. Cardale fucking Jones said, "Bitch, please." Anyways, obviously, lots to talk about.
That's why there's only been 2 Big Ten champs since they've started the playoffs. The first one and the last one, and it's been nowhere close. 5-7 in the playoffs versus 16-6. I'm not doing this today. I heard Big Ten fans pick up the Indiana thing.
When you get every advantageous matchup ever, it's easy to go 16-6. Motherfuckers are playing TCU. Get out of here.
They played them in the championship. They beat Michigan, another Big Ten school.
Yeah, I know. But garbage. TCU shouldn't even been in.
Yeah, and I seen what Ryan Day did in 2020. So hopefully we don't have a repeat of that.
Anyways, that's not going to happen. It's not COVID year. We don't have to worry about that. But hold on one second. Go ahead. Talk to him a little bit about that SMU game and why you think SMU is the best team in college football.
SMU is not one of the best teams in college football. It was a big time thing. You know, Clemson beats SMU for the ACC championship. It's going to be, just looking at the playoffs as a whole, I think the seeding is somewhat right, but as far as them putting together everything that is in totality, should they move IU around? Should they move this team around? I don't think it's I don't think moving teams around is going to fix the problem. It's the criteria because they totally went back.
Turn it down.
They went back on the premise. And
Yep.
what is this dude talking about? Clickbait crap. I don't know who the fuck you are, Wade, but how about you eat a dick? How about that? We'll fucking get to it. It's called the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith, and we fucking make the topics. How about that, pal? Motherfucker, how about you produce a show? How about that?
I'm just saying, clickbait, I don't know about that. It is a shocker because motherfucker burned the boats, I thought. How's he going to get off the island without a boat? But we'll get to it. Don't worry, Wade. Stick around. I like you.
That's what we were
So Ohio State, let's get into some Ohio State, and we'll talk about the playoffs, and then we'll get into the transfer portal and everything like that. And we'll talk about Devin Heisman Brown leaving the Ohio State Buckeyes high and dry.
We'll get into that because I have an opinion on this because something similar happened to this effect at Notre Dame, and one person handled it one way and somebody's handling it a different way, which I do not like at all.
I love it. But anyways, Ohio State gets in. They get to face Tennessee in Columbus. I mean, this is what Ohio State fans have been fucking begging for. Give me a team from the South to come up to Columbus in December. There you go. But I don't know if you know this or not. Man, Ohio State got beat by Michigan, right? But they're standing up right now saying, I ain't hear no bell. I ain't hear no bell. Hold on. No, that's not the way I want to do it. I ain't hear no bell. And there you go.
Oh. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, again, we got no volume for some reason.
Oh. Do we not have audio?
No, Richie said he couldn't hear it.
All right, but that's too bad. Anyways, Buckeyes didn't hear no bell. Give me the Buckeyes, baby. I think they're gonna make a little run here. They're gonna take out Tennessee. They're gonna take out Oregon. They're gonna take out Arizona State, and then we'll see what happens.
And
then we'll see what happens.
Yes, Brendan, we heard about this.
Yes, that was Ryan Day. He sat there and took it. Now, whether he took it like a man or he took it like a bitch, that's up for discussion. I don't know for sure. Yeah, no, there's really not. And that's one of the things that's so funny about it is the Big Ten people think that, and like, yeah, I mean, if you get somebody from the deep South, it is a little different, but like Knoxville is not that warm compared to Columbus at this time of year. And I'll be honest with you, Tennessee's built to fucking beat Ohio State in the cold. Like, they're built to run the ball. They're built to play defense. Ohio State's not built for that anymore.
That's something I found very interesting because they have Tennessee's defensive front. This is probably going to be the second best defensive front they've seen all year. And, you got Quinshawn and Trey. So we gotta get this gotta get it figured out as far as that. I don't think the weather is going to affect everything like they think it's going to. Now, maybe the Florida kids, but in Alabama it gets down in the 40s. Louisiana, it gets cold down there, and it's actually colder if you know anything about the humidity. So, right right here, Carter. Brennan brings up a good point. I played football down in Mississippi. It gets pretty damn cold. So yeah, because of the humidity. So we'll see how much this weather thing plays a big factor. And here's what it is, man. I strongly disagree with Boise State in the automatic bids because I don't think that Arizona would get in, Arizona State would get in, and I don't think and Boise doesn't get a sniff at all.
Yeah, well, that's how. I mean, what do you want them to do? Like they played their schedule, they did what they had to do. All Alabama had to do is beat 2 bad teams, and they're in. Actually, just beat one of them. You could lose to one.
But see, I think it's deeper than that because and I go back to the Indiana thing. The national pundits said, well, after Ohio State dismantled Indiana, they said Indiana is not a top 5 team and that is clear, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, then they should have fell out because they didn't play anybody. Their key win of the year is beating Michigan. But on the other side of the coin, it's tough because Ohio State did not do that. That is the problem we have here. It's really tough whenever you get some of these teams that have common opponents and then they have common losses. And I agree with Brendan. Yes, the committee did mess up by ranking Boise so high, but Boise's only loss was to like week 2 or 3 to Oregon by a field goal. But we're gonna find out how good these games are because if these games are not any good, the committee has fucked everything up, and it's just Carter will be back in a minute, but that's where we're at on this. SMU going to Penn State. Penn State should win that, but I mean they bail out SMU because they play at noon. In the middle of December. I live in Northeast Indiana, and it is the biggest thing that we have is that it's coldest, it's warmest at noon. I thought the committee was going to put Indiana, or not Indiana, but Ohio State at noon, and I think the fan base would have melted
for sure.
down. And then Clemson, Texas at 4. I think that going at 4:00 for Texas isn't bad. So
yeah, no, I agree. I think the committee. So the thing about Indiana is, like, I heard you. Sorry, I'm trying to manage everything here, but with Indiana, that's fine. They lost to Ohio State. Now do Texas.
Oh, Texas. I have that right here on the laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Texas has played Colorado State, Michigan, which they beat,
mm-hmm.
UTSA, Louisiana Monroe, the Warhawks, which are, that's a formidable opponent. So, Louisiana Monroe, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, lost to Georgia, beat Vandy by a field goal, Florida, beat Arkansas, Kentucky, A&M, and then lost to Georgia. Is the resume really any better? I get it. They don't get to make their SEC schedule, but I think they were anticipating on Michigan being good.
But I mean, Indiana doesn't get to make their Big Ten schedule either. So how can you hold that against them?
Hold on. We got this. Oh, it went away. God dang.
Interesting.
I'm shocked that they wouldn't do that. Yes, Brendan makes up a great point here. I was shocked by the conference losers being rewarded. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I knew they wouldn't be penalized, but it was interesting that they got rewarded the way they did. I mean, Penn State. Look at Penn State's path to the Final Four. You know, Penn State's the most highly favored team to make the Final Four out of everybody in the playoffs.
What is this one?
Hey, no, you're not crazy. No, you're not. Hey, just look at 2014. Lose to Virginia Tech in a game you shouldn't lose and go on to win it all. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked if they find a way. Now, they do have one of the hardest paths in all of college football there because they're going to start with Tennessee, then Oregon, potentially Texas, and then Georgia or Notre Dame or whoever gets there. But it's going to be a hell of a 4-game stretch if they're able to do it. But
yeah.
But speaking of that, and kind of what's going on, and some of these surprising teams and schools. Obviously, we got some Coach of the Year nominees coming out here. What do you think? Who wins Coach of the Year this year?
I think when is that voting done?
I am not sure. I think it's. I mean, it's definitely before the playoffs are over and stuff like that. But it could be. I don't know exactly when it is, but anyway, I mean.
I think if
here, dark horse.
I would.
Unfortunately, I think the Northern Illinois loss knocks him out of contention for that. Just me personally, I think they're going to hold that against him. But Duke, who do you think? I mean, it doesn't have to be one of these 6 guys. These are just, I think, the 6 with the highest odds or the best odds to win it. I think 3 of them up there have a real shot.
I think I'll give you the 3. I think Kenny Dillingham. I think Signetti, and I think Rhett Lashley maybe.
Yep, I think those are the 3.
It's close between him and Dion.
I don't think Dion has a chance just because of his name, and he didn't make the playoffs or do anything like that. So I think the 3 you just mentioned are at schools that have had incredible turnarounds, made the playoffs, and I think those are the 3 that are going to get the most votes. I know who I would pick, so I'll let you go first so that I don't sway you.
I would say if it was push come to shove, I think SMU was pretty expected to be. They were expected to be pretty good this year. I would say it's between Signetti and Dillingham, and whoever wins their playoff game wins Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I don't know when the voting is. I'm gonna go ahead. I think Coach Sig's gonna win it. But I think Kenny Dillingham should.
I think Dillingham should, but the Signetti story is more interesting, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and it's just a little. I don't know. That's just what I think. So I'm going. If I had to pick with my money, I'd put it on Signetti. If I had to pick with my heart, I'm going Kenny Dillingham, and that's just because I fuck with Signetti too, but I fuck with Dillingham hard. I think that guy is a pause. But. Ooh. I think that guy is legit, and I know he's at his alma mater, so he might not leave, but he could be a great coach in a different school, and not that he can't be that at Arizona State or anything, but I think that is my thoughts, or at least who I'm rolling with. Now, obviously, we've already talked about it a little bit, but you have the conference or the college football playoff rankings are done. We have the bracket done. Here's the first 5 teams that missed the cut. Obviously, we know Duke's opinion. We don't need to hear it anymore. I'm sick of hearing it. He thinks Alabama should be in over SMU and Boise State, even though those 2 teams did a better job throughout the year.
I just don't know why we got to watch Boise get blown out, but whatever.
Man, I am going to root so hard for Boise State just so that you don't have that. Like, you don't think there's even a slight chance they could top SMU or Penn State?
No.
No?
No.
They almost beat Oregon.
Maybe Maybe SMU, but not even close to Penn State. I think
Bro.
the only
Okay.
reason they got close to Oregon was because it was the beginning of the year and Oregon's right guard barely could move because his foot was taped. And Oregon struggled at the beginning of the year with Idaho as well.
I'm aware. I'm aware of what Oregon did, and Penn State struggled with Bowling Green. So
I think Penn State can rough them up front as long as
we'll see.
You don't let Genty run the ball. They're one dimensional.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't think Boise State has a chance to make a run, but I think they could win a game.
No.
I'm not saying they're going to. I think they can though. And the other four, sorry, I have
no BYU. Ole Miss killed South Carolina, although South Carolina is playing good football. And then losing to Georgia Tech and Syracuse is kind of inexcusable. Miami.
Yeah.
Our good friend Nevin Shapiro said, "Yeah, Mario, we're paying you $80 million to lose to mid-tier teams." So
yeah, Miami. I think Miami is. Thank you, Brennan. I agree. If it's Penn State, Boise can win. Agreed.
Well, I guess that would be the biggest James Franklin thing. And Brendan, also hang with us. We're getting there.
Yep.
If you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube. It's pretty fiery tonight. I had a lot of time in the car to think about this on the way home that night. So hit the like and subscribe button. And thanks for the people. Thanks for Steve at Cigarro Cigar Lounge. Thanking him for letting us do the live show. But if you're watching on Twitter, come on over to YouTube and get involved in the chat. We got about 63 of you in here, so come on over, get involved, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty of this. So
yeah. Now, do you think Ole Miss has an argument?
Just because of the Georgia thing, but Ole Miss, if we went like you have such a bad loss to where it kicks you out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think out of looking at these teams, Alabama has the best loss.
Okay. What?
Because I think the 6-6 Vandy, and 6-6 Oklahoma are better than what Ole Miss lost to in the SEC play. They lost to 1-7 Kentucky. Kentucky was their only league win.
I understand that. Kentucky is a worse loss than both those losses, not combined, but individually, yes.
But when we have this Kentucky thing, it's tough because you have Kentucky had just came off of that 1 point loss to Georgia, and they were riding high, and they go into Von Hemingway and win. So that is what happened there. I think Kentucky had a lot of momentum.
Yeah. So when you look at their losses,
when you look, I get where you're going when you look at the rosters.
No, look at the losses, right? And you got Kentucky, bad loss. And then they lost to LSU, not a great loss. And then obviously Florida. Then you look at Bama. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I can understand why Bama will be ranked ahead of Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is a better team personally. And they didn't lose to 2 6-6 schools. Now they did lose to an 8-4 school and a 7-5 school, as well as a 5-7 school. So I don't think Ole Miss has much of an argument. I know a lot of people are banging the table for them because of their win over Georgia. Same with Alabama. I mean, they have the same win. It's irrelevant. But none of these schools have an argument, is what I'm getting to. Like, I don't feel bad for any one of you.
Alabama has the best case out of all of them. I just don't think Alabama. Don't tell me you're going to give me the best 12 teams when I look at that screen and I see 3 teams better, or probably 4 teams better than Boise. And Boise didn't play a soul in the Mountain West. And then
They played everybody they had to.
They got UNLV at home, which I think they were checked out for that because what I'm seeing on Twitter is Barry Odom's going to probably most likely be the next coach at Purdue. So most likely he was leaving, but John Summerall's coming back to Tulane, which was shocked but not shocked. So
yeah, I agree, but and I agree. I think the rankings they're what I expected. I wasn't shocked with anything, but we can go ahead and
I think the criteria was bad.
Criteria is what it is, and here's the teams making their first college football playoff appearance. Not surprising with a lot of them. Penn State not making it 4-teamers just because James Franklin sucks. We have the schedules out, this is going to be fun, man. I don't care how you dice it up. We got, and I'm working on it. It's my weekend with the kids, so it's going to take some finagling. But would there be anything better than going to South Bend on Friday night, watching them play Indiana in South Bend, watching them get the dub, watching them just dominate Indiana the way they're going to, and then coming back to Columbus on the next day and watching Ohio State, Tennessee? It is set up for me to just make a nice little weekend of it, right?
Right.
But the schedule's perfect. I think you got every matchup you want at the time you want it. You definitely want Notre Dame to be a night game, and being the only game on that day is brilliant. You want Ohio State to be a night game. You want Texas to be in their nice little 4:00 slot. That's the SEC slot. And then nobody really wants to watch SMU and Penn State. That'll be the least watched game of the weekend. And so put it at noon, let it get over with. And then you got a nice little slate. January 1 bowls are going to be great. You got the Fiesta Bowl on New Year's Eve with Boise State facing probably Penn State. I love the schedule. I love the way it's set up. And putting the Oregon versus either Tennessee or Ohio State in the Rose Bowl is perfect.
I did hear a lot of the pundits out there complaining because Penn State has an easy path.
Yeah, it's the easiest path.
And it's just like, well, what do you want to do now? I just can't. I can't do it with some of these fan bases complaining because Penn State's path is easier than Texas's.
Yeah, it is.
And it's just like, I don't know what to tell you. And I heard some coaches grumbling about it, and I just said I really don't feel sorry for you because you guys agreed to do this, and this is what this, and you get what you get because you want to do the group of 5 thing. I guarantee you the ratings are going to suck for SMU Penn State, and they'll suck against whoever Boise's going to play because everybody's going to tune out at halftime. But hey, they're one of the top 12.
Yeah, the ratings probably, and we've already done this. They already did the playoff, the semifinals game on New Year's Eve, and we know those ratings suck. That's why they stopped doing it.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, I love it. Oregon got absolutely fucked. Oregon gets the number 1 overall seed, and they have to face Tennessee or Ohio State in the second round in their first game. That, they just got absolutely. I would rather face any other team on this playoff than those two. And
I think the only two, really scary teams that have buys are, I would say that
Oregon and Georgia.
The top.
Arizona State's little spooky. I like Arizona State.
See, the thing that helps Arizona State is that they ain't got to go on the road.
Yeah.
And, we did that show earlier in the year that I think that, we talked about it because we thought they were going to get left out.
Yeah, I thought they might.
But they finagled the numbers and got it switched around to where they don't. But
they won their championship.
Yeah.
But anyways, Brennan, I agree with you here. Number 1 rush defense. Buddy, you haven't faced a rush offense all season. Okay? Not even one. Look at Ohio State's run offense. It's not that impressive. and you're about to face the best Power 5 running offense in the country. I don't care what anybody says. Notre Dame can run that thing and die on that hill. Die on that hill. Please run your normal defense against Notre Dame. Please. I've watched all 22. It would be Jeremiah Love might have a career day if you do that. But they're not stupid. They'll switch it up. But I love that. And then obviously we won't spend too much time on it, but the final rankings of the committee. Anything that shocked you here?
Army only being 22. I thought Army deserved a little bit more respect than that.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
But, you know, I think I just don't know how you can you're turning this into the Invitational, and I don't like where it's going.
Well, all right. Let me stop sharing the screen here. You want it to be an Invitational.
No.
Like,
it's not it's not that I don't want that. It's just the fact the Boise State thing is stupid. Because
they earned the right to go. They didn't get invited. They earned the right to go.
It's so
if you want Bama over Boise State, you want it to be an Invitational. You want it to just be whoever we think the best teams are.
I don't think anybody else outside of the Big Ten and the SEC has a shot. So what the hell are we doing with the other spots?
First of all, there's antitrust laws they have to respect. Otherwise, they get sued to Kingdom Come. And the NCAA doesn't want that. College football doesn't want that. Number two, I agree that the Big Ten and the SEC are the best conferences in football. Agree.
We have a group of 5 team that gets a bye. Notre Dame is one of the hottest teams
in
the land.
You know what?
Well, and they can't get a bye.
Yep.
And they can't get one. Is that fair?
That's their choice.
They
could join any conference they want to join if they want to get a bye so bad. I don't think getting a bye is that big of an advantage. Shit.
I think
look at Oregon, look at Boise State. Hell, look at Georgia. You get a bye, yeah, but your second round game is going to be a fucking dogfight. So no, I don't think getting a bye is the problem. Here's the thing. If you want to make it an Invitational and make it just Big 12 SEC or Big 10 SEC, that's fine. I get it. And it's going that way eventually. And they'll get rid of the automatic buys for conference champions. They'll just get automatic bids. And then this will fix all of that. And Notre Dame will be eligible for a bye then, even though everybody wants to say, well, if you're not in a conference, you still shouldn't get one. Fuck off. I don't care what you say. They're not going to be able to. There's no way they can write the language in a way that if you're not like right now, they can keep Notre Dame out of getting a bye with that conference championship thing. But if you get rid of the auto buys for conference champions, then Notre Dame has to be eligible. There's no other legal way around it. And sorry about your luck, people that don't want it. Sorry.
But, you know, the thing with Notre Dame is that they could argue it up and down, but Notre Dame's got the win over Texas A&M. I mean, Texas has one too, but Notre Dame has been absolutely blowing people out.
Yeah, I agree. No, I'm not. You're not going to get me to disagree with you there. I think Notre Dame is probably one of the best 4 teams in the country right now, the way they're playing. I think they should be ranked ahead of Penn State, personally.
Top 3.
Yeah.
Top 3 because I think it's Oregon, I think it's Georgia, and I think it's Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Those are the top 3 teams in the country. And
I agree.
The fact that Penn State gets to play SMU and then Boise State, that is a fucking joke. Don't you think that the TV numbers or the game would at least be better if you seen the script A going up to State College or the Rebs with Lane Kiffin?
Obviously the TV numbers would be better, but you can't do that. Like, they got something. It has to mean something. Like, these games that you play every week have to mean something.
I get that, and
I get it, but don't lose to shitty teams and you're in. Like, if they had, if LSU or if Bama, Ole Miss didn't lose to shitty teams, do you like? It's not like they all beat each other up. Alabama, Georgia, LSU, or Ole Miss. Like, Ole Miss and Bama beat Georgia up.
Yeah.
That's their 2 losses.
And
But Ole Miss and Bama could have just not lost to shitty teams, and they'd have 1 loss.
And, as we're going down this, I did have a little insider information. Whenever they first rolled this thing out and all the coaches and ADs met in one big room in the SEC, I had somebody tell me this, that one coach stood up and said, this is going to be a problem. And Greg Sankey said, oh, I don't think it's going to be that, that big of a deal. And then this was around the time that they were trying to roll another conference game out of there. And I'm not trying to steal somebody's story, but they were trying to go to 9 conference games.
They should.
That's not going to happen now unless they pay him a shitload of money.
Just quit being soft. I'm so sick of this soft-ass mentality.
I don't think it's soft. I just think it's dumb. The Big Ten wants to pick and choose when Indiana's fucking good or not. That's what they do.
Nobody did that. Nobody did that.
2 weeks. Now, I'm not talking about our show. I'm just saying for the national pundits 2 weeks ago to justify them being in the playoffs that Indiana's great and Notre Dame goes out and beats them 40 to fucking nothing. Then yeah, that was worth it.
If that happens, cool.
It's just like Boise State. It's like they get beat if they get fucking smashed. It's like the championship game when they put TCU in. They got beat 63 to nothing or 7 because
but they dominated. They dominated.
They got dominated by fucking Georgia and they beat Michigan. And Michigan was even doing whatever they were doing.
Hey, just miss me with this. Like, you don't have an argument when your fucking big game the week before your rivalry is fucking Charlotte or whoever.
I don't know. You're starting to read off Indiana's schedule because they played Charlotte. But every team in the SEC schedules an FCS opponent. They schedule one at the beginning of the year and one at the
fucking Mercer. Thank you, Richie.
Because that's better. Because that's better than fucking Akron.
Akron would mop the floor with Mercer.
Akron, Marshall, and Western Michigan.
Anyways, this one I did want to get to. Texas didn't beat A&M better than ND. Fact. Mm-hmm. Which is more impressive, week 1 or week 15? Here's what I'll tell you about this. I think I can see an argument for both. So the week 15, the reason that's going to be viewed as more impressive is because Connor Wegman was no longer the starting quarterback. And for some reason, and I don't disagree, they think that the team would have been better off never starting Connor Wegman. And so Notre Dame beat Texas A&M when Connor Wegman was the quarterback, and everybody thinks that was just a mistake. However, I think week 1, especially when you're starting a freshman at left tackle, especially when you're breaking in a new quarterback and a new coordinator, especially when you have injuries on the defensive side of the ball the way Notre Dame did, to go into Texas A&M, by the way, and beat them the way Notre Dame did is one of the more impressive things I have seen this year. That's my opinion.
My thing is I think week 1 is harder because you don't know what you're going to have.
Exactly.
As far as offensive line, quarterback, and all that, you're still gelling as a team. Riley Leonard missed spring ball, which because we were told that doesn't matter, but we're not going down that road. Not going down that road right now. But the team is what it is.
I guess, but
the team is what it is at this point.
We do have. Okay, yeah. Notre Dame beat A&M when their offense wasn't a flicker of light compared to what it eventually became. Or, devil's advocate, maybe Texas A&M faced a real defense for one game this year.
Yeah, because when they played South Carolina, they got beat by like a drum.
I'm just saying, you can say that. And I don't disagree. Their offense has progressed and got better throughout the season. However, Notre Dame's defense, especially week 1, when they had Benjamin Morrison, when they had a lot of these guys that got hurt throughout the year, Notre Dame's defense was elite and was one of the best defenses in college football. Still is just to say. But they are missing a first-round corner. They are missing 3 of their top 4 edge rushers. They are missing a lot of pieces now that they weren't missing week 1. So they did have a much better defense week 1. And When Texas A&M has faced good defenses this year, they haven't looked good, including Notre Dame, including South Carolina, including Texas. I mean, all of them.
Yeah.
But regardless of all that,
let's reset the show for the last 15 minutes here. If you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube. We got plenty of people in the chat tonight getting interactive. But come and hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to grow this show as much as we can. But me and Carter don't always disagree, or we don't always agree on everything. But yeah, if you can hit that like and subscribe button and help us grow this show, this helps. And then we are hitting the final stretch here. You want to go the Notre Dame segment, and then we'll end it with Devin Brown.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So I agree with these two takes real quick. Big credit. Marcus Freeman has built great depth. I've been very impressed with what they've done with the injuries they've had and how people have stepped up. Same with this. True freshman Moore is just as good as BMO. That's crazy. It's insane, but it's true. He is not. No, BMO is not coming back. He, I believe he is hitting the portal or leaving. I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, so.
Or actually, no. I think that was somebody else. I think I'm thinking of somebody else. But anyways, so obviously Notre Dame gets matched up against Indiana. I was really hoping for an SEC opponent. I got to be honest. Just for the sake of the argument and the sake of what we talked about preseason, where I want them to go win a playoff game, and I wanted them to beat an SEC school. But this is still a great opportunity for them. What are your initial thoughts looking at Notre Dame, Indiana? Obviously, we have a few weeks. I'll dive into it deep. We'll break it down as we get closer and everything like that. But initial thoughts when you saw it come out.
When I seen that come out, I think if you want to see how good Indiana is, I think we're going to find out if that offense is legit. So we're gonna see. I did see Signetti made some comments today, so I think that we'll have to.
Yeah, his comments were pretty interesting. Not really anything against Notre Dame. Not really anything against Notre Dame. He just had some comments about not getting a home game, not getting seated any higher than he was. I don't disagree with him.
Yeah, I think the home game argument is okay, but I think it's a little played out just for the simple fact of I think Notre Dame's resume is a lot better, and logistically wise, it'll be better to host a playoff game in South Bend because they're used to having big games. It's not going to be trying to stuff 5 pounds of shit in a 3-pound bag.
No, it's perfect for what it is. Marcus Freeman had some comments as well, and I don't know if you saw that, but he came out and was asked. He said he hasn't really dove into him. He doesn't know much about him, but he did Google him.
Yeah. So,
which is I love Marcus Freeman. Let me just start with that. I know if you've watched the show for a long time, you know my feelings on when he lost to Northern Illinois and how I felt. I've come around. I don't think he should be fired or anything like that. I love Marcus Freeman as just a person and a coach. And that was he played that perfectly. He's like, yeah, but I Googled him. Like, he wins everywhere he goes. And I'm like, yeah, good. Get that out. And it was perfect. And this is the battle for Indiana. And I don't think people understand, like, it actually is more important than people realize. And I know Indiana in-state recruiting isn't huge for Notre Dame or, anybody in the country. However, there are just really good prospects in the state of Indiana. There's a couple of them every year. And this is a big deal for recruiting, for just the Notre Dame fans are going to lose their mind if Indiana beats Notre Dame and somehow Notre Dame is not the best team in the state. You know what I mean?
That is the whole reason why they do not play, and that is from high, not high ranking Indiana people, but that's from people that cut checks at Indiana. That is the sole reason why they don't play them in basketball. They don't play them in nothing.
Yeah. Why would you?
Because they do not want. They don't want to. Notre Dame does not want to lose to Indiana.
Yeah. And so it'll be fun. It's going to be a fun matchup. I'll break it down. I'm hopeful that I can even maybe show a little film on here. We'll see. I laid a little seed into a little person I know, and we'll see what happens. But outside of that, there's all kinds of great storylines. Obviously, it's not a rivalry, but it is a rivalry because it's in state. You're going to get, and here's yeah, I agree. Playing Purdue and not Indiana is weird.
It's different.
I agree. I'm sure it is. But regardless of all of that, here's the number one thing I'll tell Notre Dame fans, and we got a bunch of them in the chat tonight and a bunch of them that listen. If you do happen to get tickets to the game, first of all, go. It's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be the first ever playoff game in Notre Dame Stadium. It's going to be an epic environment. It's going to be something that people talk about for the rest of their life. So first of all, go. Second of all, if you can't go, if you don't want to go, whatever, then sell your tickets privately and make sure you sell them to a Notre Dame fan. The last thing we need is this stadium to have any red in it at all. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want Signetti to be talking about it. It needs to be nothing but blue and gold or green. That's it. I don't want to see a single red.
Oh, you're gonna have that.
Yeah, they'll get their 3,500 tickets, but the other 80,000 need to be all Notre Dame fans, and you guys need to just make it absolutely miserable on them. And Notre Dame doesn't have the same problem that Ohio State has, where Notre Dame old heads get very upset and yell at you for standing up. Everybody should be standing the entire game. It should be an epic environment, and I can't wait for it. And I'm hopeful. I'm working on it. We'll see if anybody's got any connections out there with somebody that can hook me up. Let me know. I'm gonna try to get to South Bend for that game, one way or another. Even if I got to bring 3 kids under the age of 7, I will.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is that I just seen something that said it was the Schwarzenegger from Predator, where him and whatchamacallit shake hands, and one arm was Indiana, one arm was Notre Dame, and at the top of it said dropping 66 on Purdue.
Yeah, they both fucked Purdue up.
So. Yeah.
I saw. I think the average ticket price is like $1,500 or something stupid.
I found a cheap one for $821, but it's that I'm not paying that.
No, I'd have to look at my kids and say, "Hey, sorry, Christmas is off. You're going to Notre Dame." but let's get into the transfer portal. It is transfer portal Monday still.
Yeah,
and we got some news out yesterday. And I know everybody's worried who's leaving. The good news is Notre Dame hasn't had any news.
Nope.
The 2 kids in the portal have been there for 2 months.
Yep.
Nothing to worry about there. So the good news for Notre Dame, nobody leaving, at least not yet. And I'm sure there's going to be some kids that leave. But Ohio State's losing some kids now.
They've had a couple jump ship. I think well, we talked about this thing and there was the Devin Brown talk that we had. And whenever we started talking about this 2 or 3 months ago, is he going to leave? Oh no, he's not going anywhere. The Ohio State people said he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere, and he is.
And I think it's very telling that. If Ryan Day doesn't handle this room right, he could end up with Julian Sane and Tavion St. Clair and somebody's back or somebody in a starter from Olentangy. I don't know. It's one of the area high schools, but I think that we have a very interesting time here with the
So it wasn't shocking. I know everybody, clickbait, blah, blah, blah. Nah, but it was surprising the timing of it. And here's the thing that's the most surprising of it. I think it's surprising because Devin Brown entered the portal. Devin Brown's gone. And he is going to be leaving the program after the season. He's going to stick with the program through the playoffs, which is interesting.
I don't agree
with
that.
And we'll jump into that before you get out of here. I know you got to go. But he burned the boats. How's he leaving? He told me that he was all in on being a Buckeye. He's going to win this job. And then he didn't win the job. And now I think the only reason Devin Brown enters the portal is because Ryan Day told him, we're going to add another transfer quarterback. And Devin Brown said, I'm not doing this shit again. I'll compete with the guys in the room, but if you're bringing in another guy, I'm out. I've been through this. I'm not doing it again.
I don't know. I just don't know how Ryan Day can completely try to navigate this, because we are looking rough as the quarterback prospects.
Well, I think he's hoping on a big name jumping in the portal, or he's going to add somebody for depth. I think here's the thing. I think Julian saying, obviously, they believe is the future, but they aren't ready to. They aren't comfortable with him being next year's starter yet. So they're going to bring somebody in to compete with him. But we've seen this story, man. Like they keep doing this.
I just think that when it comes down to it, I just don't know how you can add somebody to the portal, and it is when you're adding to the portal, it does not. How do I want to say this?
It's a real restaurant. Okay, girls.
It doesn't add the cachet for Ryan Day being the quarterback guy when we've had.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's got to make one of these guys work. Like, I mean, Julian's saying I guess he doesn't have to start next year, but if he's not ready after next year, you can't even think about it. He's got to be ready to go. And
also,
what have you been doing with Devin Brown? Same amount of time.
Yeah, I gotta bounce in a few here, but the big problem you have is I don't think Julian's saying fits the Chip Kelly offense at all, because he can't run the ball, and he's not a big.
Well, he can run. He's not big, but
I'm telling you, if he takes that hit against Michigan, like
Will Howard,
like Will Howard did, and somebody put it out that it was a pinched nerve, but they can say what they want, but
he was concussed. But anyways, that was the big news out of Ohio State. I know it's not shocking for everybody, but I've heard Ohio State fans all year tell me Devin's not leaving. He burned the boats. So, also before you go, Kentucky has 18 kids that have already entered the portal today.
Yeah, there's big problems down there.
Yeah, you got to fire them. You got to fire Stoops.
They ain't no.
You got to
go look at that buyout,
buddy. You just saved a bunch of money on your car insurance by switching to Geico, getting rid of Coach Cal. Use some of that basketball money and get rid of this motherfucker. And I love Stoops. I don't think he's a bad coach, but that program is ruined if he doesn't go.
I think that they have a shitbird problem. I think he took too many shitbirds, and we are.
Well, that's a him problem. Let's get him out. Let's go.
I think that's what we're doing. We are cleansing. We are exorcising the demons, as some would say.
Well, part of the demons is the head coach. Get him out too. See if he can hit the transfer portal.
But yeah, we'll have another show tomorrow. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Yep.
All 97 of you rolling with us tonight. A little on impromptu, Carter being on dad duty, but hey, it's all right. We'll work through it. But if you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over, hit the like and subscribe. We're also on Spotify, PodBean, and Apple Music. I don't know about that, Ron. I don't know.
Bro, you must be a Bama fan. I know hopes are high. It's not happening.
I don't foresee that happening.
No,
but,
Caleb's not going anywhere. But also, yeah, Spotify, all that stuff. Like and subscribe. But also comment right here who you think is the biggest transfer that is going to leave their program. It's either going to be a quarterback or something like that. Comment in the comments here. Also, shoot us a DM. We're looking to book our next live show. Hopefully sometime in January before a playoff game if Notre Dame can put a little run together. And right now, the cities we're looking at are Dayton, Columbus, somewhere like that. But put it in the comments or shoot us a DM where you want to see us, and we'll get it set up.
Maybe even South Bend.
Hell yeah!
That'd be a good time. So.
No, I said a bad word. Sorry.
Oh yeah, hey Ron, we're gonna be live back tomorrow at 7:30. Richie's gonna be joining the show, so we're here every evening. But just come on over and we'll see what's going on. But with that being said, everybody have a good night.
Because I have some stuff there that I want to grab.